That's it. That's the commercial right there. That's the commercial.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
So let's just chat about my books. Little 60-second spots. So this is my dispatching book. It talks about things that a dispatcher needs to know if they're operating their own company. It talks about the legal aspects of dispatching, as well as the difference between being a broker and a dispatcher. It gives you tips, contracting tips, and risk management style tips as well. This is the dispatching workbook. It is a companion book for the dispatching book, and it just pulls out all of the things that you need to know about dispatching. All right, so next book is the Hours of Service book. Now, this is the second edition of this book. The first edition was written in 2019, but there was an update to the Hours of Service rules after that, and so I wrote a second edition. Now, the second edition incorporates those additional rules, and it also has whistleblower protection and employment discrimination. Two things that any motor carrier, driver, and anyone who works with a driver needs to know. Even if you're a dispatcher, you still need to know the hours of service, and you need to know whistleblower protections, because you cannot ask a truck driver to do things like violate the hours of service or do things that are unsafe. That's a violation of the DOT rules and something that you definitely need to know. All right, next book, Trip Planner. So if you're a truck driver and you've been a truck driver for a while, you know what a trip planner is. A trip planner is a book that is going to help you to plan out each trip. So it gives you spaces to write in your bill of lading number, the weight of your load or of your truck, whichever one you choose to write, or both if that's what you choose. Your empty miles, your loaded miles, your delivery date and time, pickup date and time, the addresses, where you plan to get fuel, rest stops, the route you plan to take. Let's say your GPS goes out. Sometimes that happens. So if you're in a rural area, the country, right? And your GPS goes out, you need to know which way you're supposed to go. But there's a spot on the page that gives you a general where you're supposed to go. So when I was a driver, and yes, I was a truck driver, what I would do is I would, find my route. I would throw on my GPS, but I would also have it written down. Say, hey, I'm going to get off at this exit, then I'm going to go this way. I kind of generally know where I'm going, even though I haven't seen the place. So that's always something good to do. Each page has a notes page that goes with it. So you can write down any notes that you need for your trip. You never know what may happen. So you may need to refer back to it. So trip planner. All right, next book. Class A CDL Permit Workbook. So to get your CDL, you have to pass a written exam. Okay. This book is going to help you do that. So this book has over 300 multiple choice, true, false, and fill in the blank questions. Here's a sample page. Ta-da! And then the answers are in the back of the book. They cover all the sections for a Class A CDL. Class A is kind of like the highest that you can have. I have a Class A, and this book will help you to pass your exam That's it. That's the commercial right there. That's the commercial. This book will help you pass your exam. All right. My pride and joy. Okay. My pride and joy. Transportation Law Dictionary. So if you guys don't know, I'm a lawyer. Okay. I'm a lawyer in Pennsylvania. I'm a former truck driver. I also have a master's in International Transportation Management from SUNY Maritime College. So I know about ships. I work in air transportation. I know about air transport. I know about trucking. I was a truck driver. I taught truck driving. So here we go. This is the Transportation Law Dictionary. This book was created for me, okay, for my own benefit. It has a list of acronyms used in transportation, in all forms of transportation. It has legal terms, technical terms, insurance terms, all the terms you need. So it also has a list of every airport in the United States. And you think it's only a few airports: Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, New Orleans. No. This is the airport list. And it goes, I think it's like 20 pages. It's about 20 pages of these 3 columns. So there are tons of airports in the United States. It also gives the abbreviation for each airport. So if you're ever looking, and I was looking one time for airport code in Hawaii, because you know Hawaii has the different islands, and I said, I wrote a book. So I looked in the book and I found the airport code, and it was a quick reference for me. But yeah, okay. So the dictionary has parts of a ship and their definitions, parts of a truck and their definitions, parts of an airplane and their definitions. It also has international laws, federal laws that govern transportation and the regulation of the different transportation industries. What else do I need to tell you guys? I mean, the book is the bomb. The book is good. The book is good. I'm very proud of this book. I have my favorites, right? So at first, this was my favorite book. Like for a long time, this was my favorite. Now, this bad boy right here is my favorite. And this is the hardcover. So, those are my books. I feel like I'm missing a book. But I have this card here to help me. So we do have 2 ebooks. There's 2 ebooks. There is The Trucker's Guide to Police Encounters. And that book gives you, it kind of gives a truck driver a sense of what their rights are when they're pulled over, and kind of gives a few tips. But just, it kind of helps you to stay alert as to things that may not be right with your stop, so that you can contact a lawyer and, have them look further into that. Then there is an ebook called Basics of a Truck Accident Lawsuit. That is a really good book. Okay, that is a really good book. So what it does is it talks about so it kind of just goes through the anatomy of a truck accident lawsuit. It is a book that you can read if you have an accident, if your truck is in an accident, or a book you can read to prepare before your truck is in an accident. And I'll tell you why. The book goes all the way from what kind of tools the plaintiff would use to get information from the trucking company or the driver or dispatcher, freight broker, all of those parties that can be in a lawsuit. But it also tells you things that the driver should not say at the accident scene. and how that can be used in court against them. So it's very important to not only get the book if you're in an accident, but try to get it before you're in that. So basics of a truck accident lawsuit will help you prepare for things that you do not want to happen in the first place. But at least you'll be able, as a carrier or even as a dispatcher, to train your driver that if they are in an accident, don't just say any old thing at the scene, you know? Now, of course, there are other methods of obtaining information, but we don't want to make it so easy to put fault onto the driver, or to put fault onto the carrier, because even if the driver makes a statement, it can be used against the carrier too. So those are the books. If you stayed tuned this long, I want to say thank you.
Yeah.